Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and I want to have a conversation today about the Snyder Cut, about where it's at, where it's going, and how, quite frankly, it's moving into territories that are just absolutely insane and mind-boggling to some extent. And what I'm referring to in general is a live stream yesterday that happened on Jody Corner's channel with Andy Signore, Luis Lecca from Nerd Report, and Film Gob. Now, Film Gob and Jody, they don't like each other. Film Gob has clipped out things that Jody has said about, let's say, BVS The Ultimate Edition, how a couple years ago Jody was like, this movie was great, I give it a B. And then him seeing, him now saying that the movie was trash. And that's the whole point of what Film Gob is trying to say, is that there's clearly a difference of opinion that is altered over the span of the last couple of years. And Jody didn't really take it well, so much so that he called him out, called him a troll, called him a racist, brought him on a live stream. And then they proceeded to label it debating a troll and a racist. And it turned into ultimately three Karens, by using the current term of we know from the internet, going after one mild-mannered Scottish dude who just kind of sat there and took it. It was a shameful display, to say the very, very least, to listen to. It was embarrassing to listen to, because I know Andy, I know Lewis, I don't know Film Gob or Jody very well, but it was embarrassing as a third-party viewer. Now, I, for full disclosure, believe that the Snyder Cut exists. I believe that fans are very, very, very right in wanting to see it come out. But there's been this renewed zeal in attacking the Snyder Cut fan base, and it's not coming from, let's say, the Access media, because we know the Access media likes to defame and attack these kind of movements because they need a villain and they want to make it a villain. But when you've got Andy running an article on Fandom Wire saying he talked to his sources and this is what his sources say, and then going out there and actively agitating the Snyder Cut movement to get people to come on to fight him in real time, and then getting mad at pushback online over it, I find that to be just wildly hypocritical. Because he's attacking a fan base and then going, well, they don't want to engage with me. What's wrong? I automatically win. That's not a fight. That's not a fight. That's agitating an audience, a fan base of people, and waiting for them to strike back. But you want to control where they put their criticism, and that's not how the internet works. That's just not how the internet works. What happened with Jody yesterday was very similar. He had Andy, he had Lewis on there. Andy acted as Jody's shield for practically the entire time. That was actually, in my mind, probably the funniest and most shameful aspect of it, was Jody, who has a problem with Gob, couldn't be bothered to do a one-on-one debate with him, but instead had to flex and fleece his audience as a way to garner massive payouts in super chats and Cash App donations. And after a while, it just became quite apparent that they just kept this show going for as long as they could, even though the conversation was effectively dead. It was stalled, it was over, it was done, it was finito. They kept rehashing the same arguments, using the same phrases, all in order to keep the hype up to the nearly, I think it was like 560 some odd people watching the stream and waiting for the super chats to come on in. That is when you know that the argument is dead. The being critical of the Snyder Cut movement is dead, and you're using a person as a scapegoat to get cash from your audience. It is a fleece of epic proportions. 3 grown men turn into social justice Karens in order to bring on a guy with considerably smaller numbers than them, because they're mad that he makes fun of them. That's a lot of what it was. But it shows you precisely where this movement is, where the fan base has kind of gotten. Where we are right now in regards to the DCEU is in a weird place. Jim Lee has said that the DC extended universe exists. We know that there are 3 more movies coming next year, one of which doesn't seem to be in the continuity of Zack Snyder's movies. But and so there is valid criticism to say that it's over. There's if you look at it, it does look they are moving in another direction, and that's fine. But that's not why the Snyder Cut fans want to see the movie. The Snyder Cut fans want to see that completed vision. And all of this twisting and turning and goalpost shifting and attacking doesn't benefit the conversation, because it is designed implicitly to sow discourse and then to be able to play the victim. And that's exactly what yesterday was. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what Andy did on Jody's stream. And then later on that night, doing the exact same thing again. Firing up a base of people. And I'm sure he's going to play this video on a stream. So, hi, Andy, how you doing? Please stop texting me. I don't want to talk to you. And that's what's going to happen. That's what he's going to do, because that is right now where his game is at. And he's using the Snyder Cut as a way to sow division. Jody's using it as a way to sow division, even though I do believe Film Gob was absolutely right in showing the discrepancy between what Jody has said previously and what Jody says now. To me, Jody's an actor. He's not, he says he's keeping it 100% real, but yesterday wasn't 100% real. Yesterday was absolutely an act. Yesterday was an embarrassment, in my opinion. Absolute embarrassment. He should be embarrassed of yesterday. Oh, you made a lot of money. Great. Good for you. But you sold your effing integrity, dude. You sold it out the window. Absolutely, 100%. Because this was not about having a conversation. This was about trying to attack and defame a person you don't like. In essence, almost trying to cancel that person by digging through past tweets and trying to frame it in the most negative way possible, which is what Andy was doing. And he did this again last week, which is why him and I are no longer talking to one another. It's a very shameful tactic. And I've talked to Luis, and I've told him I'm woefully disappointed that he's being anywhere involved in any of this. Because this is not how you unite people. This is not how you bring the community together, which is what you hear quite a bit. We got to stick together, but let's fucking attack and fame and shame people. That's where we are right now. That's where things are with the Snyder Cut movement in regards to this particular space. But let's talk for a second about what the Snyder Cut movement has actually done. All right. And I'm going to address Andy directly on this one. He said, oh, but we raised money for charity. So has the Snyder Cut. They've raised money to fly a banner over Comic-Con. They've raised money to put ads on bus stops. They've raised money in order to keep the awareness up. They've done protests in front of Warner Brothers in full-on cosplay, very respectfully, in order to be able to keep people talking about it because they want it. People still want it. They do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are some people out there that absolutely positively are jerks. Make no mistake about that, there are. I've encountered them too, and I'm pro Snyder Cut. But yesterday what I saw was the exact same thing that I have seen coming out of another group of individuals that these people don't like. Another fandom, if you will, that does very similar things. Pushes and pushes and pushes, and then when there's pushback, acts like they're the victim. And if it's disgusting to watch, to be honest with you. It's absolutely disgusting to watch. It really just is an eye-opening experience, to say the very least. So when you're trying to win an argument on the internet, you don't do a 3-on-1 and then bring your boys in to continuously attack. That's not how this works. If you want to win an argument, you want to sway people to having a conversation, don't agitate the audience. And then, don't act like Glenn Beck when he agitated the president, put up a phone number, said, you call in right now, defend yourself. Call in right now, defend yourself. Call in right now, defend yourself. Oh, he's not calling, which means I'm right. Because that was the tactics on display. And the reason why these tactics are on display, quite frankly, is because there's money involved. That's not how you go forward with this. It was an embarrassment, to say the very least. I'm embarrassed for all the parties involved. As an outside viewer, I'm embarrassed by all the parties involved. And it's unfortunate. It's absolutely unfortunate that it's gotten to this point. But it has. So let me explain to all of you out there who don't want the Snyder Cut why people want the Snyder Cut. Because they know that Warner Brothers screwed over Zack Snyder. We know this. Warner Brothers screwed over Zack Snyder, not for any personal vendetta, not for any personal reason, because they're afraid. They're afraid of the audience. They're afraid of screwing up. They're afraid of making bad choices. So what did they do? They kept doubling down on bad choices. And now they're paying the price from that. They've kind of had some successes. Obviously, Aquaman, but Birds of Prey, Shazam both kind of crashed and burned. Joker was not a DCEU film. Not yet, at least. It will be eventually, I guarantee you. But it's that. But they still made bad choices. And they chose to bring in Joss Whedon to fix Justice League. And Joss Whedon did not have the time to fix it. So he tried his best. And his best wasn't good enough. So fans want to see what Snyder had done. That's it. And they've been getting attacked and defamed and shamed now for well over 2 years. Never mind, we have absolute proof, irrefutable evidence of how Warner's acted going back to the first week of April 2016 when Batman v Superman had dropped 70 some odd percent in its second week and only did 827 million worldwide. But then a few months later, we got the Ultimate Cut, and the Ultimate Cut spent 5 weeks at #1 on home video sales. 5 weeks at #1 in home video sales between Blu-ray and DVD. That's an irrefutable fact. That number is there. Why don't you ever talk about the success of BVS? And that maybe is why people who saw it and realized that the theatrical cut was that bad, they know Warner's interference on that. They know about Warner's interference on the Justice League. They know about all those things that happened towards the end. Maybe this is why they want to see something. And so, yeah, they've been vocal about it, but they've done so much more good than bad. But yet that never gets brought up at all. That never gets brought up, period. Yesterday was an absolute despicable, shameful act. And everyone involved should feel embarrassed. Truly. But hey, listen, when you got bills to pay and ad revenue is down and views are down, got to do what you got to do. You got to take a guy from Scotland, gang up on him, label him all sorts of things, and then overtake every time he tries to say something. Well, he sat there for hours and took it. Really kind of shows you who the bullies are in the situation, don't you think? I'm just saying, this is my opinions on this one. Agree, disagree, I'm fine with it. I would much rather see there be valid, open conversation that's not turned into a spectacle or a sport because you want to get money to that Cash App or you want to get them super chats. It's a fleece of epic proportions from a person who I view as being a massive faker. I do think Jody fakes a lot of stuff. I do. I don't think he keeps it real. I think it's a show. I think it's 100% a show. And I know Andy, it's a show. 100%. I know with Andy, it's a show. So it is what it is. It was an embarrassment. It was an absolute embarrassment. Anyway, I look forward to your thoughts. I look forward to your opinions, good or bad. If you guys want to debate this with me about the merits of the Snyder Cut, I'm live. I'm live on Hollywood After Dark over on twitch.tv/3buck theater most nights. And you know what? Hey, I do open calls all the time. So feel free. Come on in. Have a conversation. But you got to admit, if you saw yesterday, you know how bad it was. It was pretty bad. And it was an embarrassment all the way around. And it goes to show you that right now, people are only kind of caring about one thing. And it ain't the community and it ain't the movies. So I look forward to your thoughts and your opinions. I'll see you all later. Have yourself a great day and peace out. Hey, would you like more 3buck Theater goodness? Well, head on over to twitch.tv/3buck theater for the Hollywood After Dark live stream taking place most nights at about 10 or 10:30 p.m. Or you're going to get great bits like this. But Dan Scanlon, who did Onward, also did Monsters University. And what I love about that movie is I feel it captures the essence of what the 1980s college movies were. Like if you were to go ask him, what was your influence for Monsters University? He would tell you Revenge of the Nerds. Without he would tell you that. because that's right, folks. Twitch.tv/3buck theater. See y'all there. Have yourself a great day and peace out.